Good morning. It's Tuesday, 9:30 in the morning. Just getting started. Once again, spent the last hour or so on the computer, paperwork and email, stuff like that. Anyway, I'm working on the electrical system. This is the diagram currently that I'm going to be building. I've assigned wire colors, and I'm doing that. I buy wire by the roll. I buy shrink tubing by the 100-foot roll. Let's see, this one is 101 feet, yeah. So 100-foot roll of shrink tubing, various sizes. And then I've got to, I covered over these connectors like I said I would. They look pretty good. Underneath the rear wheel looks really good. I'm just now running the wires down to the brake switch. Don't forget, if you ever have a short circuit or pop a fuse, check your brake switch first, because that's ignition wiring going right down there. And if something, and on the stock bikes, it's sort of an exposed wire. And if you pop in your main fuse and you can't figure out why, check your brake switch first, because that's hot ignition down there. People don't think about that. Oh, so I'm going to start connecting all these wires, putting all these color codes together, and then go up into the headlight. Put all of these wires go inside the headlight to connect with this switch assembly's wires and the brake switch wire on the master cylinder, and the kill switch wire on this switch, and the wire on the starter switch that I'm going to be installing. All of that will make its connections inside the headlight, just for neatness, neatness and cleanliness. It should work out pretty well. So that's what I'm going to do today. Once again, starter motor's completely wired. If I were to stick 12 volts on this little wire right here, it would spin the motor. One other thing, I've ordered a battery charge adapter that I will hook up to this guy and bring down here and hook up and drape somewhere down here where it's available, so that the client can hook up a battery charger when the bike is parked. So that's where we are. Oh, and somebody mentioned that I put the lock. I did. No, wait a minute. Here's the scribe. Okay, here's the timing scribe. We thought that we'd put this on top of it, but no, that's the scribe line right there. Now I'll paint that white. I always do, and we'll be able to see it through the access hole on the primary cover. Well, I'm glad of that. Okay. Unless, of course, there's a corresponding one up there, which there may well be. I don't know. I'll check. And if there is, I will paint one of them white. This whole assembly is ready to be tested as soon as I get all of the electrons flowing to the starter motor. So that's where we are. It's the start of the day, and progress is being made. All right, I've laid out some supplies. I got 22 bullets, 14 single connectors, 4 double connectors, and a leftover female spade. That's what I'm going to start with, and we'll see how many I end up with when I finish hooking up all these wires. All right, so it's 11:30, and this part of the bike is actually pretty much complete. These are all the wires connected. This wire will go to the horn once I decide how the horn button works, whether it's switching 12 volts or ground. Then I will make an accompanying wire, and the 2 wires will go up here to the horn. These are all in place and secured. And over here, I have, coming out of that bundle, 3 wires that will go to the tail light. This is your tail light, this is your brake light, and this is a ground wire. They will connect right about here with the wires that are already in the tail section over there. So those wires that are in there get connected to the wires that I have hanging out into the wind right now. I'm not going to go ahead and put the tail section on now, because I still want to hook up charger wires to these two connectors, and then run that auxiliary charge connector down so the battery can be put on a charger whenever the client wants to. So at this point, we're just one wire shy of deciding that this part of the bike is finished. That brings us up here to the front of the bike. This is the main bus, and it picks up ignition, brings ignition up here, and then brings it up here. This is ignition going into the headlight. And this is all the wires that I just put into that main bus. Everything here is now going to go inside the headlight to be connected to the switch over here, the switch over there, and the starter switch I'm going to install. So progress is being made, and that's where we are at 11:30. So all I have to do first of all, before I start on that front end, I gotta clean up this mess. I gotta put everything back where it belongs so I can start fresh. I don't know if you looked at the wiring diagram before, but it has grown in size, and more wires added as I defined the need. We used seven are left. 1, 2, 3, 4. We started out with 22. I got to do some math, and we have 5 left. That don't seem right. That seems like 17, not 7. And then we used 4 singles and all 4 of the doubles. So use enough supplies. I'm really low on supplies. I've ordered more. They aren't going to get here for a few days. I may have to borrow some from Kevin. So anyway, that's what the bench looks like. It's a mess. And I'm going to clean up and then start on the headlight. We'll do that next. It's 20 after 12. I took a lunch break, and I'm back out here in the garage on the bike. Now what I need to do, first of all, is I've got the headlight open, and these are all the wires that come in from the various and sundry switches out on the handlebars. As I said before, you've got, I actually don't know. You have a horn button here, okay? I have to figure out if that's switching ground or switching 12 volts, or if it's just 2 wires and switches whatever you put into it. Probably 2 wires that switches whatever you put into it, in which case I can put 12 volts into it. It'll get, and you press a button, it'll get 12 volts out, and it'll honk the horn. It's beautiful. I would bet that it's out of this wire, and it's just an on-off switch, 2 wires. Turn signal isn't used. We have no turn signals on the bike. This is high beam, low beam. They will be active. I will run power to them and then out to the headlight. That's no real problem over there. Here's the opportunity for excellence over here. This switch is a grounding switch. It grounds itself right here to the frame of the bike. And when you press it, it puts a ground onto a wire that goes down and shorts out the ignition. Kills the ignition. It's a kill switch, okay? And I'm going to use it. That's the exact switch I need. And it fits. There's no clearance under here at all. So I'm going to leave this switch here as a kill switch. There's no clearance between that switch and the underside of the handlebar. Let's see, where am I? Right in, let me get the fingers on it, right over here. Yeah, here it is right here. So there's just no clearance under there. No clearance. So that switch sort of has to stay there as a kill button. So that means, what do you do with a starter switch? This is a starter switch. It's a really nice switch. Way too big, way too thick to go in that position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right about here. Take this off and put it right here. It's a little awkward. So you will be handling the throttle with your right hand and pressing the starter switch with your left. C'est la vie, it's just the way it is. We're a little bound up with real estate on the handlebars. Not a lot we can do. So this is going to go here for a starter. This is going to stay there for a kill. And that horn's going to stay over there. So that's what we're going to do. So now I got to start mounting this one and figuring out the wiring on these two, which goes into the headlight. And then from there, hooking up to all of these wires, which will come into the headlight from the back. And that's the way it is. Well, it's 2:45 and I'm fading fast. I've got almost, well, I'd say more than half of the wires in the headlight all hooked up. The high beam light, I replaced the socket, it was bad. So I've got a high beam light wired. This is the plug to the back of the headlight. These are the wires that go to the starter switch. This is your 12 volts coming in, and it still has some distribution. These wires are the wires from the main cable that I made. These are the wires coming out of the switch on the left-hand handlebar. These and these will go together one way or another, sort of like that, tomorrow. Because right now, like I say, I'm tired and I'm fading. So it's coming together. And I should be able to close this up and do some live hot wire testing tomorrow. Hot system testing. That's it. Things are hanging out all over. And it's coming together. And once again, my workbench is a disaster area. And I might come out here later this evening and put everything away.